Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to have myself a white pineapple monster, some cinnamon vodka, and we're going to tackle the question, can science explain everything? This is a philosophical question from a list of 250 philosophical questions that I found on the internet. And if you are lucky, I will put a link to the list in the description below so that you can answer the questions for yourself. For those of you who are uninitiated, I drink in these videos because I am a food blogger. I purchase things for the purpose of blogging, like this vodka, and I need to use them up in a timely manner so that I can buy more things to blog about. It's a hobby. Anyway, for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do also purchase one of these bracelets from Ocean. That is across all 6 of my channels. I am trying to give you an opportunity to do something for the world for free. Don't waste it. Anyway. Cinnamon pineapple is not bad. Can science explain everything? Not today. I mean, obviously there are things that science currently cannot explain. Moreover, what science, I mean, there are a lot of what we call soft sciences like psychology, and sciences like psychology are social science. I mean, they're always going to be soft sciences. We try to harden them as much as we can. Psychology, for example, is trying to become the biology of the mind. Okay? And then when you get into harder sciences like, say, chemistry wants to be the physics of chemistry because that's how it works, you know. All science is based on the backbone of mathematics. If mathematics is the queen of the sciences, physics would be her king. But do understand that, you know, the queen of the sciences here it's like a queen in chess. She's the one that kicks ass. So, if you say science, the question quickly becomes, what do you mean by science? Does everything have a rational explanation? And the answer to that is almost certainly. Okay? This breaks down the question, do you believe in God? Do you believe in a higher power? If the answer is no, then physics is the closest thing you get to God. If the answer is yes, then physics is the language of God. These are the rules that God created. He probably does not break these rules. That's kind of how that works. What then becomes the fact, it's like this. An atheist says, can God create a rock that God cannot move? If God cannot create a rock that God cannot move, then this is a limitation. If God can create a rock that God cannot move, then this is another limitation. So God cannot be all-powerful. A physicist, however, would walk up there and say, yes, but the universe is infinite. Therefore, if you take this ducky here, you could say that this ducky cannot be moved. What is moving is the universe. So, in practice, you could consider any point the solid center of the universe, and all things move around it. So that I push this ducky up, no, I'm bringing the universe down. So literally, the question would be, is there a rock that, every rock could be the rock that God can't move. It's simply a matter of perspective. Now, if you then said, well, can God make two rocks that he can't move? That would be another conversation. And it gets into some pretty hairy territory there, I think. But so that's the thing. Now, we then ask ourselves the question, is there something in this world that science cannot explain? Well, current science, obviously, there are things that can't be explained, but when science evolves further, we should have better explanations for things, and then in the end, there should be new things that are difficult for us to explain. All right? I still got to work on drinking without making that noise. Anyway, take ghosts, for example. Again, we have the question, are ghosts real? I have no proof. I cannot disprove. So you say, well, science came up with a question, what are ghosts made of? If they're made out of matter, they would have to be made out of certain particles that are actually referred to as a ghost particle because they move through things. But if those particles could move through things, you wouldn't be able to see them. So therefore, ghosts cannot exist. This is bad science. If you want to give me ghosts are real, okay? If I go by the premise ghosts are real, how do I, by science, explain them? Ghosts are not made of matter. They are made out of energy. All right? Matter is energy compressed, essentially. If you could convert this into energy, it would be a nuclear explosion, right? It would level this house and leave a crater. Okay? That's how matter works. It is energy brought together. Now, if ghosts are real, they must be made out of energy, not matter. Because if they were made out of matter, they would not have the properties that we aspired or that we assigned to them. Okay? Now, ghosts tend to be present in an electromagnetic field. Right? This is something science has determined. When people perceive ghosts, there is always an electromagnetic field present. All right? So this would mean that ghosts have something to do with electromagnetism. Right? Electricity, energy. What that thing is, okay, we don't know. Now, is it possible that a ghost is a physical object that when magnetized gives off this projection or presence? Maybe that's a possibility. I don't know. It's an explanation. Maybe not the explanation. Science at this point can speculate. In most occasions, when human beings perceive ghosts, it's probably more of a, mistaken identity. That's what happens quite a lot. Or a hallucination of some kind. All right? Let's be honest with this. Ghosts don't have a high likelihood of being real. But as a scientist, I cannot say they don't exist. That's not how science works. But I will say this much. If ghosts are real, there is a scientific explanation for them. That's how the world works. everything, like, if you could map every molecule in my brain, you would eventually be able to get to the point where you could say, this is why you feel bad, because of these molecules here. And you would be able to, basically manufacture a drug that, okay, let's fix the personality. The problem with that, of course, is that we don't have the science yet. We don't have the perfect understanding of the brain. There may be a time in human history or in human future that you could go to the doctor, get an MRI or something similar, and the doctor could turn around and say, okay, we've determined that you're depressed based on this MRI. We can clinically decide that you are depressed. We can get a perfect medical diagnosis based on the molecules in your brain. That may be a possibility at some point. It's not a possibility now, but you never know. So, can science explain everything? No. Will science be able to explain everything? Maybe. I mean, it's also possible that tomorrow the world could end before we learn the science that explains everything. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Love to hear yours. Comments below. I'm Richard. Hey, Astro, did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Yeah, Nance, I heard the food was good, but it had no atmosphere. Now that was a corny joke, but you know what isn't a joke? A clean environment. And this channel will buy one of these bracelets I'm holding from 4Ocean for every 1,000 subscribers it gets. So you should comment, like, and subscribe. Support us so we can support a better world.